Hey there, and welcome. I really hope you brought your appetite because today we are diving headfirst into the delicious and sometimes downright deceptive world of food words in English. It's a topic that is just full of quirks and surprises, and we're going to unpack it all. Okay, let's just jump right in with a question that gets to the heart of what we're talking about. Have you ever actually stopped to think about this? We write it out chocolate, but when we say it, it's just chocolate. It seems so simple, but it's a perfect little window into how tricky English can be. So, to solve mysteries like chocolate and a whole bunch of others, we are going on what I'm calling a culinary tour of the English language. We're going to explore some crazy pronunciations, travel around the globe to see how names change, and clear up some classic kitchen confusion. You ready? Let's go. All right, our first stop is all about sound. English is kind of notorious for having silent letters all over the place, and believe me, food words are absolutely packed with them. These are the words that can really trip you up if you're just reading them off a menu for the first time. And here we go, the answer to our starting puzzle. That middle O in chocolate, it just disappears when we talk. It gets squished, turning 3 written syllables into just 2 spoken ones. It's a classic example of our pronunciation taking a little shortcut that the spelling just never caught up with. Oh, here's another one you'll find on so many menus. That L is completely silent. It's salmon, not salmon. And what's really fascinating is that the L went silent ages ago in Old French. But then, centuries later, English scholars decided to add it back into the spelling to make it look more like its Latin root, salmo. So the spelling changed, but how we say it, that stuck. And here's another one just like it, lamb. It follows the same pattern as words like comb or thumb. That B at the end, it's pretty much just for decoration. It actually used to be pronounced way back in Old English, but over hundreds of years, it just faded away, leaving us with that clean sound we say today, lamb. Now, this one is a great example of how our everyday speech just kind of speeds up and changes things. I mean, sure, you can say sandwich, and it's not wrong. But in natural, fast conversation, that D just vanishes. We all say sandwich. It really shows you how the English we speak can be so different from the correct version we write down. Okay, for our next stop, we're going global. Because sometimes the problem isn't the pronunciation, it's the word itself. You could be ordering food in another English-speaking country and feel like you need a translator because the exact same food has a completely different name. And this chart just lays it all out. It's wild, right? In the UK, you'd ask for sweets. In the US, it's candy. But head down to Australia or New Zealand, and now they're lollies. Are you buying an aubergine or an eggplant? Are you chopping up a pepper or a capsicum? And that frozen treat on a stick? It could be an ice lolly, a popsicle, or an icy pole. The big lesson here? It really helps to know where you are. And speaking of the UK, let's just park here for a minute. Its unique food vocabulary goes way beyond just sweets and aubergines. It's a perfect little case study in how a country's food and its language are totally intertwined. So let's take a quick look at some of those iconic dishes you might hear about. Just picture this. You kick off your day with a massive, hearty, full English breakfast. Then for lunch, maybe you grab a Cornish pasty to go. That's a delicious pastry pocket filled with meat and veggies. In the afternoon, it's time to relax with the very civilized tradition of afternoon tea. And of course, you've got to end the day with world-famous fish and chips. That's a whole culinary journey through Britain in a single day. All right, for our final stop on this tour, let's head into the kitchen. We're going to clear up a couple of word pairs that cause a lot of confusion, sometimes even for native speakers. These are those subtle little differences that can totally change the meaning of what you're cooking. Okay, let's talk bake versus roast. They both happen in an oven, so what is the deal? Well, the key is right here. We bake things that go through a big transformation. Think about liquid cake batter turning into a solid cake, or dough becoming bread. We roast things that are already solid to begin with, like a chicken or a bunch of potatoes. They just get cooked. And this sentence just nails it, puts it all together perfectly. You bake the cake. It changes its state. You roast the chicken. It starts solid and it ends solid. It's a really simple rule, but once you know it, it's so useful. Here's another pair that can be super tricky, salty and savory. A lot of people use them like they're the same thing, but they're not. Salty is very specific. It means it tastes like salt, like potato chips. Savory is a much bigger, broader category. It basically means anything that isn't sweet. So a breakfast of eggs and bacon, that's savory.
It might also be a bit salty, but its main job is to not be sweet. And now for the final boss of food confusion, the word pudding. This word is a total linguistic chameleon. In the UK, if someone asks what's for pudding, they just mean what's for dessert. But it can also mean a specific dish like sticky toffee pudding. And to make it even crazier, some puddings are savory, like a Yorkshire pudding. Meanwhile, you go to North America, and pudding means one thing and one thing only, that creamy, cold dessert. It's a word that completely depends on where you're standing. So, after this whole tour, what's the big takeaway? It's really that food words are so much more than just labels. They are just packed with culture, with history, and with geography. The reason we say chocolat or why salmon got that silent L put back in, it all comes down to the incredible journey that both the words and the foods themselves have taken over hundreds of years. And that brings us to the end of our little explainer. So I'll leave you with one final thought to chew on. After everything we've looked at, from silent letters to the great pudding debate, what's the one food word that surprised you the most today? Thanks so much for joining me.